One, I don't know about you guys, but I think everybody's ready for this month to end. You last saw Wake Me Up when September ends. This month of September was a roller coaster for everybody. So why don't we end it off with another great tweet cap and throw in some questions and let this month go behind us, and we have a new month to start this weekend. Also, happy anniversary to Ryan as well.
Thanks. Thank you.
Jose and
Oh,
Ryan
happy
are here.
anniversary.
Sunday, October 1st. So, sayonara September, going right on into my anniversary.
We are ready for September to be over. So Ryan and Jose are here. So why don't we talk about what is going on in our crazy world, and let's get into it right away. We talked about him last week. We talked about her this summer. We've talked about these people a lot, and we're going to. And now the story continues. And I think we should have a real moment in time to talk about what's happening between these two. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. They're definitely something. They were seen together on Sunday after the Chiefs destroyed the Chicago Bears 41-10. Jose, as he mentioned, cared more about the game, needed those points, and it happened. Mm-hmm. So you see Taylor Swift go to the game in the suite with the mother. Then this appearance only led to the highest rated regular season game in years. It led to 400% a 400% rise in Kelce jersey sales. Jerseys.
Well, so Jason Kelce said that's only the women's jerseys, by the way.
Oh well, I honestly didn't know. They said
Jason Kelce said the women's jersey on their podcast, but I don't know. I heard overall 400 increase in sales, so who knows?
There's that. There's just a bunch of people who are new football fans now. Taylor announced she is going to MetLife Stadium to see the Jets play the Kansas City Chiefs, and that is the biggest story. And it's unbelievable, guys. Every single person is talking about this, whether it's an up-and-coming podcast like us, whether it's the professional podcast, whether it's a professional radio show, daytime TV. I'm sure when late night comes back this week, they'll discuss it. This is the thing to talk about. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, and we will spend a good amount of time of it. But the first question I want to ask you, one question I really haven't seen, and I think this is a very important and genuine question. Do you two think that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift might actually have something special? Is there a love story? Do you think they legitimately like each other? And in this rare instance, not only trying to establish if you guys have chemistry or not, but the fact that you have the entire world on your shoulder for this. It must be something else. But beyond everything and people's opinions and all of that, and I get it, we're contributing to it too, but it's worth discussing. Do you think there is something genuine there? Do you think that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift have a love connection?
Well, man, it's a love story, baby. Just say yes. I'm sorry, we had to. It's required. Everyone has to make at least one Taylor Swift joke about this. So there we go. We got ours out of the way first. Yeah, I mean, why not? Obviously, I'm not Travis Kelce or Taylor Swift. I don't know. No one can ever know. I don't believe. I think there was like some talk at the beginning that they were just kind of flirting or whatever. Mm-hmm. The amount of scrutiny, not scrutiny, but kind of scrutiny that they're under now, right? The whole world is looking at them. I don't care who is involved. I don't care the guy, the girl, the money. Don't care about any of it. The amount of hassle their life has to be collectively is not worth a fling. If they were having a fling, it would have been her texting him sneaking over, her sneaking over, maybe a date or two. She would not be in the box with Donna Mama Kelce. That would not have happened if this wasn't semi, legitimate in terms of like, unless if they weren't willing to be publicly, linked. Put it bluntly. So clearly it's a real relationship. Now, again, am I telling you they're going to get married and have like a beautiful family? I've got no idea. But clearly this is not just like two people having a little bit of fun. Clearly they're interested in each other in at least a slightly more serious way. because not worth it. I mean, because I'm not saying it's not worth it because, like, obviously, he's very, successful. She's very successful. Like, I get it. For a lot of people, being with that person, either of them would be worth it. But, like, there's a way to do this that doesn't blow up the world, doesn't make the entire planet stare at you. And they didn't do that. They purposely did it the way where everybody was looking at them. And so if this was meant to be like a low-key, hush-hush, casual thing, they would not have done that. And then she would not have announced that. She announced she's going to the next game.
That's nuts.
Like, that's confirmed.
Did she?
I saw
and the credentials, people have to write credentials, and someone leaked that out. So she will be there. There will be a Taylor Swift game.
So it's just like, you're going to 2 games in a row. This can't. It's very public now. The Kelce brothers have gone out and spoke about this, kinda, not really, but a little bit. No, there's no way that this can be just a fling. There has to be a little bit more to it than that. Now, again, I'm not going to say, oh, they're in love, or, you know what I mean? I'm not either of them. I can't speak to what their future holds, but there's certainly, to me, this would seem to be people who are interested in getting to know each other more seriously. That's all I can say. Because if they were trying to just keep it low key, they would have.
Yeah, I mean, adding on to that, them leaving the stadium in a convertible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, nothing low key about that. No way to hide yourself without literally atop of your car. It's just, to me, that's clearly them saying, like, yeah, we're a thing. Like, this feels like, to me, like, get it out of your system, right? And they had these 2 back-to-back games, and it's perfect because she's in New York, right? So back-to-back games, let's, like, get everybody, like, get it out of your system. They'll both be Chiefs wins. Let's just be honest. I'm a Jets fan. I can admit that. And so, I think that the Jets can beat the Chiefs. No.
Come on, your defense is really. You might have a shitty offense, but your defense is really good.
So I've never played football, so I won't say that I could be a better quarterback than Zach Wilson, because that's not true. But my brother is a coach of a youth football team in our hometown, and I genuinely believe that with just a little bit of training, he could make a completion before Zach Wilson could in a professional football game.
I totally get what you're saying, but last week should have showed you when Cardinals beat Dallas, and I lost money. I lost a lot of money on that game. So
yeah,
if that shit could happen, you at least have a great defense. Cardinals have no defense and no offense, and still somehow won.
Football's weird.
Fair enough. I think it's safe to say, though, that the chances of the Jets beating the Chiefs is low. Might be better than the Bears, and that's probably the most generous thing I could say.
You know what's funny about this game too? Coming into it, when Rodgers was announced to become the Jets quarterback,
he's going to be kicking himself.
No, that was funny on Pat McAfee. You don't know who's going to be there. People thinking he was talking about Taylor this whole time. But anyways, this was supposed to be a major game. Patrick Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. And instead, this is going to be known as the Taylor Swift game with no Aaron Rodgers.
What's crazy is it's not even the first Taylor Swift game. The Bears, who are atrocious, got the highest rated sports game of the season. Like, period. That no one's going to top the Super Bowl, will probably top it. But other than that, like, more people watched that game, watched the Bears get smacked, than will watch any other game this season. It's kind of crazy to think about.
I get it.
Don't you feel like that is kind of set up? Don't you think it's kind of fast to meet the mother already?
Yeah, that was one thing too.
I don't. Sorry, conspiracy. I live with a Swiftie, so I hear the TikToks about Taylor Swift pretty regularly. No one who knows Taylor Swift thinks that this is brand new.
Oh yeah,
they think that they did the quiet thing already. Like, remember I said, like, if they wanted to keep this DL, they could have done this DL. A lot of people are saying that there's some stuff that they have freaking secret codes. I've had my run-ins with the Swifties on this show before, Jose. So I have to be careful about what I say. But long story short is there seems to be some Swift evidence meaning evidence that only Taylor Swift fans can suss out. That she's been seeing somebody longer than right, and it is Travis Kelce, but they kept it on the DL. And now, the football season's happening. She's about to go back on tour. It'll be much harder to do it quietly, so they're just going out in the open. And I will say something that is less Swift-based is the fact that Jason Kelce talked about this like a month and a half ago on Pat McAfee's show.
I get that. I get it. So at best case scenario, they started talking like a month and a half ago. Cool. Yeah, I get
a month is fine. Yeah,
there's no way how
after a month.
Oh, fuck out of here! I ain't not letting nobody meet my parents a month and I probably smashed it like twice in a month and a half. I'm not letting you meet my mom. You gotta wait like 3-4 months.
Listen, the Kelce family, what? They're all American, red, white, and blue. It's different. It's different.
Yeah, but
I think a month is fine.
But nobody knew who the Kelces were. I mean, you knew what the brothers were because they had the
sports
Super
fans
Bowl
do,
game.
Yeah.
And that's
it. No, but you only know the Kelces.
That's it.
You only know the Kelces because of the Super Bowl game, because it was brother versus brother in the game. That's how started.
Both Kelce brothers are very good football players. If you're a fan of the NFL, you knew who the Kelces were before.
I'm a fan.
The jersey.
Oh yeah, individually for sure. They're both Hall of Famers.
So, I'm a fan of the Kelces, but I didn't know one of the Kelces was in Philly until recently.
Oh really? I didn't.
I'm sorry. I give two shits about Phillies. If you got a problem with it, go hit up Matt about it. But I hate fucking Phillies.
At TweetCap, let Jose know that he's wrong about Philadelphia.
Yeah, tweet Matt and let him get back to me on it.
Good. But and that's one of the funniest things. One of the actual conversations this week, did Taylor Swift put, and I'll ask you guys this, did Taylor Swift put Travis Kelce on the map? And again, only to true football fans, obviously not. This dude had an E show. He was very popular, like above average in popularity for football players.
I'll tell you this, no bullshit, honest truth. It did put Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend on the map because that bitch is
she was
right
pissed.
After it.
His ex-girlfriend. So for people who don't know, his ex-girlfriend went out of her way to tell everybody, yeah, Travis is a cheater. I don't think people really cared, to be honest.
Nobody really cared.
That wasn't that surprising a realization. Is anyone? I mean, I hate to say that. Is anyone else like okay, like not okay, and obviously don't cheat, but like that? None of that surprises me. Hearing that Travis Kelce has cheated on a girl before is like the least surprising news I've ever heard in my life.
That is true.
Like, come on now.
Especially a guy wearing denim outfit after a game.
I mean, he's jacked. He's a football star. Come on, of course he's cheating.
But by the way, does anybody know she has an OnlyFans?
Taylor's.
No, not Taylor.
His ex-girlfriend.
No, his ex-girlfriend. I've been trying to find out for a minute.
I have no idea.
Still can have my $10.
She can have my $10.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can quickly look up such a thing, but I mean, yeah, it is really nuts how much we care about it. I'm saying as a society, Well,
I want to jump in here real quick. This is something we talked about talking about. So as we've mentioned on this show, I write about sports is the wrong term, but I do write about something adjacent to sports and entertainment. And I want to tell everyone in the realm of sports journalism that you guys need to collectively calm the hell down. The amount of people in sports journalism on ESPN and on Fox, all these places that cover sports, that had a collective meltdown about the fact that this was a trending story that people cared about is too damn high. I would kill for a freaking Timothy Chalamet to date somebody in WWE because that would do numbers for me. You guys got Taylor Swift and you're freaking mad about it? Come on. It's a game. All of it's a game. Your favorite thing in the world is a bunch of people playing an actual game for actual children for millions of dollars a year. That's just true. I don't care what anyone else has to say. That's just facts. So just take it. Make the bad jokes. Take the engagement, take the clips, right? Get those clicks on your stuff, get paid. Why is everyone freaking out about this? What's his name, Matt? You know the guy's name. Russo.
Christopher Mad Dog Russo on ESPN this week.
What is wrong with that guy? He's just spouting off for no reason.
They didn't find love. They found publicity. He said that.
They just spouting off nonsense about Taylor Swift, publicity. Taylor Swift can't walk outside without being swarmed by actual legions of fans. She didn't have to find publicity. Publicity is outside her house every freaking day with cameras waiting for her. Just make the jokes. Just explain to your fans who Taylor Swift is. Explain to Taylor Swift fans who Travis Kelce is. Take the opportunity to, promote the sport you love. Don't try and gatekeep. Be like, oh, these Swifties. People are complaining because the Jets game sold out. You know who's not complaining because the Jets game sold out? Anyone who works for the New York Jets organization. They're like, I don't care who's here. As long as I sold all the tickets, my job is done.
Zach Wilson is probably lucky that everyone could stop hating on him for a few days and people focus more on Taylor Swift.
Exactly. Because really, if without Taylor Swift, the stories are the Dolphins won by a gazillion points or scored a gazillion points, and Zach Wilson can't throw a football at even an amateur level, let alone at a professional level. So the fact that Taylor Swift came in and scooped both those stories is helpful for him. But to me, I don't get it. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
No one who has ever played the sport of football was talking about it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, that's funny you say that.
All of the ex-players, they took it in stride. It was the loudmouths who couldn't suit up, like, they couldn't play Pop Warner. It's them and Zach Wilson would be playing on the pickup team at this point. They're the ones who had a problem with, like, this ruining football. It's a game.
Right.
It's a game. You like a game. I like men pretending to hit each other, guys. I'm not judging. This is not me casting shade. This is an intervention. So I hope everyone who covers football, because guess what? It's not going away. This will be the only story next week too, by the way.
Yes,
take it in stride. Yeah, just take it in stride. Listen to a couple Taylor Swift songs, right? Get some jokes, get some puns for your opening monologues or whatever. Just lean into it. Because it's not going away until it does, and it will go away eventually, probably. Like, odds are, right? But just don't take it so seriously, because it only makes you look like an idiot. It really does. If football makes you that angry, it makes you look like an idiot. And so that's that. And I want Jose and Matt to say something, but before we leave the segment, Matt, I have to say something as well. But you guys go, and then at the end, I'll do what I have to do.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I have noticed that it seems like the actual football players are having more fun than the journalists and hosts.
This is great.
Like Sauce Gardner was asked about it, who's Jets cornerback, and he says, "Well, she's not coming to see me." Oh well, and I listened to the morning show on WFAN. Boomer Esiason, former Jets quarterback, was throwing Jets references, Taylor Swift songs the whole game, and his co-host Greg Giannotti was not having it. He was blowing a gasket.
Exactly. It's literally the players like, this is fun, and everyone who couldn't lace up a cleat to save their life is like trying to prove how macho in football they are by hating on it. It's stupid.
Yeah, and like
stupid.
I actually listened. So Micah Parsons, best defensive player in the NFL, he has a podcast every Monday, which is awesome. Even though I hate the Cowboys, I love him. I cannot say he's a great podcaster. And he even said, "Yo, we're up right now in the NFL. I want everybody to shoot their shot like Travis Kelce did." Look how encouraging the actual players are, and yet these commentators have a problem with it for some reason. And even with our own NFL show here, our commentators were pissed off. Like, who cares? That's what's fun. And this is why it's more suited for this environment. And you guys know football anyway. So like it is nuts. I just want to, Jose, what else do you have to add? I just want to read these odds that people made, and then Ryan can finish his point, then we can move on.
Yeah. Oh, you guys did an amazing job cleaning that up. I mean, I agree with both of y'all.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. I think that's the thing. If anyone noticed, Taylor Swift is arguably the most talked about topic on this show in 2023. Right. And I'm here to have fun with it. And commentators and people are just like, yo, let this girl be. She she's a lot of fun to talk about at the end of the day. She's so much fun to talk about, and it's so much fun to talk about her fans. And again, and now we're mixing these two worlds together. It is nuts how polarizing it actually is. And at the end of the day, it's their relationship. Those two have to focus on each other if they want to make it work.
Right,
and let me read you these odds from odds.com, sportsodds.com. So here are some events that you can bet on, you can bet on to win. So some are easier than others, and if you need to explain, I could do that. So first one, at minus 1,500. So you would have to throw $1,500 to make $100. So this is a very easy bet that people think. Taylor Swift pictured attending a second Chiefs game this season. Well, that's going to be accomplished.
Happening on Sunday.
Minus 400. Travis Kelce pictured attending Taylor Swift concert at the end of 2024. That's a little harder because he does have the whole season. So end of 2024. Okay, that's possible.
He'll be free. Yeah, he'll be free.
So she plays.
He's already been to the show once, but
right. So she plays in Tokyo, the Tokyo Dome, the night of the Super Bowl. You think if the Chiefs aren't there, he's going to that? I just find it funny. They're the same day.
Maybe if the Eagles aren't there too, I feel like he'll go support his brother.
Right. At minus 120, Taylor Swift pictured attending a second Chiefs game sitting next to Brittany Mahomes, and there was a report saying those two hit it off. And they're friends.
Really? Oh my god!
I saw that'll
be something else.
And I mean,
those four people in the same place.
I have it right here, reported by @ML Football. Big news: Taylor Swift and Patrick Mahomes' wife hit it off and had shots together at Travis Kelce's party, per TMZ. It literally says here, our sources say the two chatted a ton at the bash. At one point, even took a shot together. The two plan on staying in touch and will attend multiple Chiefs games together. Oh, no. And everybody says she was offended by this. Now, that's one person we all can agree with.
I think that was a joke, yeah. Oh, yeah. The whole Mahomes, let's all just let Pat talk. Everyone else with the last name Mahomes should just kind of continue living your life quietly.
All right, and these last favorite odds is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announced a relationship, but then separate by the end of 2024, minus 110.
110? That's actually not bad. I'll take that.
You'll take that? They're done?
I think they're not going to make it. I think
and here are
the next
And here are the underdogs.
Historically speaking, they're not going to make it, right? Most people don't.
No,
in fairness, right? So
except
in general,
Jake Cargill and Brandon Phillips.
No, but most people don't date one person and get married. So
right.
I mean, Christ, I haven't dated that many people, and I still dated more than one person. Like, I didn't even get it right in the first try. You know what I mean? Like, it happens.
So these are the underdog odds. At plus 200, Taylor Swift to be interviewed by Kelce Brothers on New Heights podcast. Oh boy, that's at plus 200.
How much is that?
That's plus 200.
Plus 200.
I would take that.
I would take that too. I think that's more likely than people giving credit for.
Yeah.
Oh no. At plus 300, Taylor Swift to appear on Jackson Mahomes' TikTok in 2023. Don't take that.
Nope.
Never gonna happen.
At another plus 300, either Swift or Kelce announced the other has cheated during the relationship by the end of 2024.
Yeah,
plus 300.
If the breakup is true, then that's probably true as well.
Okay. And then the final odds. Okay. Okay. Man, if they actually cheat, oh boy. And then the last odd I have for you at plus 1,500. So if this happens, you are a rich man. Taylor Swift to release a single she confirms has been written about Kelce by the end of 2024.
I'll take that. No. I'll take it.
No, here's why. She's not releasing a new single in 2024. She's got to re-release all those old albums. Her schedule's booked. She'd have to go out of her. She'd have to go out of her way to write a new song and release just a single. There's no new album coming out. It's all the.
Ain't she releasing 4 new songs on Friday?
No, they're all like vault things. It's like a whole thing that she does. There were new songs, but she wrote them when she was like 13. Listen, the whole Taylor Swift ecosystem is crazy. But I know for a fact that she's not focusing on like a new album. So I would be shocked if she released a Travis Kelce song.
For 15, was it 1,500?
Yep.
I'll put 100 on it just for kicks and giggles. What's the worst can happen?
Oh, absolutely. Got to. I agree with that.
All right. So, Ryan, what's your final point in this before we move on?
Sure. So, as Matt has brought up a couple of times, we've talked about Taylor Swift a lot on this podcast, the Taylor Swift cast. And I've often found myself on the opposite end of pretty much everybody. Hopefully Claudia's listening. Shout out to Claudia. So Matt has said repeatedly on this show that Taylor Swift is the most important person in the world. And while I still have a hard time accepting the word important the way that Matt is using it, I think important implies more than we're giving it credit for. I have got to admit now that some of the comparisons that I've said, some of the artists that I've said Taylor Swift did not compare to, I was very, very clearly wrong. This is very obviously Beatlemania. This is very obviously Elvis Presley on Ed Sullivan. This is very obviously Michael Jackson post, Motown. She's obviously there. She just is. The fact that the world cares about this relationship this much is proof positive that she is the most famous person currently alive. It might be the most famous person ever. I will quibble. That doesn't necessarily mean she's the most impactful person in music, but we could agree to disagree on that. I have to apologize. It is obvious that Taylor Swift is the most famous person on the planet today. I was wrong for insinuating otherwise.
Hey man, it's really getting nuts, and maybe I guess that all this time influential was a better word, but
I quibble with important, but you're right. I know what you mean, and you're right.
It's nuts. Taylor Swift, this won't be the last time we talk about you. So
no,
I just want to put this within the whole productive conversations history, and I hope and I pray to God that it lasts for multiple decades, 50 plus years. I just hope she comes on the show, even if there's a point where people don't want to talk to her anymore. She's not famous anymore, which would obviously not happen. I just hope she comes on.
Snatch her up then.
We really called this one early. We did the Taylor Swift pod in June. This. All right. Why don't we actually talk about the other person who seems to be just as famous if you're on X, Kevin James, the meme. What about these? What do you guys think about these Kevin James memes? Who decided, you know what? I'm going to put this stocked image where it literally has the watermark there of Kevin James.
Yeah, it does.
And I'm going to throw this everywhere. People are hilarious with it. People are really clever. They're showing all types of Kevin James memes. Apparently, King of Queens is like the most requested streaming show now. King of Queens. Remember watching that at 9:30 on CBS?
I do, like Nick at Night or whatever too. I think that was.
I've never seen it.
Really? And Liam Remini is getting popular. Jerry Stiller, rest in peace. The rise of Kevin James. The internet decided you are going to be the other famous thing in this world.
That's such a weird thing to have Taylor Swift and Kevin James rise at the same time.
He's been around for, like 30 years.
Long time.
And now he's famous. Now people really don't know. I mean, you've seen.
I thought he was dead.
He's dead.
Kevin James, no, he's alive.
I get that now. Obviously, I see that he's alive now. But before this whole meme shit happened a week or two ago, I thought the damn guy died.
You thought Paul Blart passed away?
Yeah, it was like, I was waiting in line at the movie theater for Paul Blart 3. And I was like, it's not happening.
Paul Blart. He wasn't this popular when Paul Blart came out, and that's a fun cult movie to talk about.
Paul Blart is a fun movie. It needs more
emphasize the fun part.
Yes.
He better capitalize on all this fame while suddenly because.
Well, he said he's going back on tour. He's going on stand-up tour.
Oh, come on! Yeah. What a waste.
That's the thing you can do quickly. In fairness, it takes time to write a movie, Jose, but it doesn't take time to show up and tell some jokes. So
he probably got movies backed up. He hasn't done that in like 10 years.
Yeah, but
now he will. We want him again. The world has decided
movies are bad.
By the time he freaking decides to go do a movie, ain't nobody gonna give a shit about that meme. How long will meme life last for?
Well, no,
You
but
got
if
4
the
weeks?
tour, but if the tour takes off in 4 weeks, right? If the tour becomes its own interest generator, then he could probably do it. Yeah, no, there's no way he's gonna get a movie written and gone and done in time for
Listen,
a meme
I'm
to
gonna tell you right now.
power.
He's been on tour for the last 5 fucking years probably, and nobody knew.
No, he stopped. I'm saying he stopped. He wasn't doing anything. He was just living off Paul Blart money.
Oh Jesus!
He doesn't need a job. He's got Paul Blart money. He's got that mall cop money.
He's probably fat as hell. Oh God.
Yeah, well,
he was actually, he was at the
Jets
Bills game. He was there before this was about it.
Is he really?
Yeah. So I don't know if somebody said, you know what? Let's make Kevin.
Oh, they saw Kevin James and they just decided. Also, I don't know. I might be the only one. When I saw the picture, I don't know why. And maybe there's a psychology thing. If you're a psychologist at TweetCap, let me know. The picture feels dirty to me.
Is that like him shrugging? Like, what do you mean by dirty?
Yeah, that one with the weird smirk. I get just like a dirty feeling. Like, I feel like the picture is dirty. I don't know.
That's why people make funny memes out of it. Like when somebody said,
I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's explicit in some way. I know it's not. Everyone's clothed. It's just a dude shrugging with the smirk. It just feels kind of dirty. I don't know. Explicit. I don't know. I get a weird feeling. I don't actually like the meme because of that reason. When I look at it, it just feels wrong. I like the ones where like they add stuff to it because then it's funny. But like the regular picture, not like for me.
Somebody said, like when guys are like, "Hey, let's get the hose out here," when the hose show up, stuff like that. This is a fascinating world where the internet decides all these things, and they anointed Kevin James. You are the chosen one for a couple of weeks.
It is just a couple of weeks, though. That's what's important. Remember Montgomery? That was only a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that I think we kind of miss this at the end of it, but where did this Roman Empire stuff come from? Who decided?
Now I'm thinking about
I'm going to talk about thinking about the Roman Empire. Honestly, I really thought they were talking about Roman Reigns. This might be the nerdiest thing I say today, but seriously, who decided the Roman Empire is going to be relevant?
I mean, obviously, it was just a joke somebody told online, right? But I don't know. I mean, I would lie if I say I never thought about the Roman Empire, but I don't think it's often. It's more often now because people keep asking me.
Do you know how long the Roman Empire lasted?
A long time.
1,000 years.
Like 500 were in peace. That was kind of cool.
The trend took off, according here in this CBS News article, the trend took off mainly on TikTok, where the hashtag Roman Empire has 1.3 billion views on the app. The belief is that men think about the Roman Empire far more than their female counterparts. And if you scroll through Roman Empire videos, that certainly seems to be the case. That was reported 6 days ago.
I mean, again, there's some cool stuff in Roman history, in the Roman Empire. You could walk the entire continent and still be in the Roman Empire. You can't do that anymore. That's kind of cool.
Isn't it crazy how Roman Reigns has been on hiatus this whole time? He could have just really added to the stock. His name is Roman Reigns.
I'm surprised he hasn't put out like a TikTok about like how often do you think about the Roman Empire and just show him like stacking.
His name is literally Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, and he didn't take advantage of it. He must really love his off time then, I guess.
Yeah, he unplugs when he's on vacation. He's on vacation.
Yes.
Don't need Roman Reigns when he's on vacation. He didn't even come back for The Rock.
Unbelievable stuff, guys.
He said Dwayne can find me when I come back in November if Dwayne's interested. He's on a beach somewhere. He doesn't care.
So how about this too?
I like to think he calls him Dwayne.
It was announced last week that stand-up comedian Dane Cook began dating in 2017. Dane Cook began dating fitness instructor Kelce Taylor, who is 26 years his junior. They became engaged on July 13th, 2022 after 6 years, and the couple got married on September 23rd, 2023. and they emphasize that they've been dating for 6 years, met in 2017. So put 2 and 2 together, it seems like they were dating since they were 18. She was 18, and he maybe, but there's some slippery slope people trying to figure out. Again, if no interviews on this, just all assumptions. I mean, if they're happy, amazing. But yeah, Dane Cook at one point was the biggest stand-up comedian, and is this his way to get relevant again?
Who's getting relevant?
I mean, you don't marry a kid. You don't marry a kid to get relevant. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this isn't new. I mean, this been his MO for years.
I know
underage women.
No, for sure. And then they got
She's
married,
of age now,
and people are laughing at it.
Now
people are laughing at it, so they must not. They clearly don't give a fuck.
I mean, 18 is technically legal. I mean, we can call it what it is, which is grimy, but it's not illegal. So there's no story here in terms of that. And in terms of dudes dating younger women who are too young for them, that's a lot of celebrity men. So I don't know.
That's a lot of men in general, though.
Yeah, I said celebrity because that's what we cover. But you're right. That's just people in general. Again, she was 16. That's a problem, right? Because that's illegal. But 18 years old is 18 years old. It's gross. It's kind of, it's odd to me. But legality is legality, right? You can judge somebody for doing something you disagree with, but you can't persecute somebody for doing something illegal or something legal. I mean, who knows?
It's crazy. All these years later, it hasn't been established how they met. Did they meet on Tinder? Did she slide in his DMs? Did they meet at a show when he was doing the funny bone?
It got to be a show. I mean, 16-year-olds can't get on Tinder or any of that.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you could reach out on social media. Oh, she was also 18, so she could have been on Tinder. I don't know how long they knew each other before they started dating. If they've known each other for years before dating, then yeah, A, that probably gets a little bit slippery for Dane there, and B, it couldn't have been on like Tinder. But if she's 18, Tinder, or what's the one that like the women can find the celebrity men on? Rhea.
Rhea, yeah.
Rhea, yeah. So.
Well, then people
it could be something like that, as long as she's 18.
We'll see how long this relationship lasts as well. So moving on. Another football story. So Ryan, why don't you talk about what The Rock announced?
Oh yeah. So today, right before we got ready to film, The Rock announced a big merger between his XFL and the USFL. So the also-rans of American football are going to be teaming up to see what they can do against the NFL, which will likely be not much. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. For one thing, it feels a little bit like The Rock admitting defeat. This is the last step before The Rock divests himself from what might be his worst business venture of all time. Coming unfortunately in a year where a lot of his ventures turned up sour. The XFL was chief among them. USFL, I will say, is somehow less relevant than the XFL. Matt, have you ever seen the US? I've seen an XFL game. They are on TV. DC actually has a very good XFL team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they got like second or third this past season. But I've never seen USFL. Well, also not to it's not connected now. That's the old Trump one, right?
Yes, it is. I have seen a few games. It's mostly they played in like April and like in February, March, April. And let's be real, people. This is going to fail. This is going to embarrass people. People are going to lose a lot of money. You are not going to have another professional football league in the United States. It's not going to happen. It failed in the 80s. It failed in the 90s. It's failed in the 2010s, and it will fail again in the 2020s. I somehow appreciate you people keep trying, but it's not going to work. We're not that interested. And there's nowhere in the calendar you can make it work. Maybe in the summer with baseball, but it's not going to work, people. We're just not interested as a society for it.
But what we need to keep it around so Zach Wilson, when he gets cut, finally can join the Seattle Sea Dragons.
Wait, he's ending up.
Has to happen.
I don't know what NFL team would take a flyer on him, even as a backup. So maybe he will end up
That's what I'm saying. XFL. There you go.
There was also the fan football
presumably.
league with Johnny Manziel, but nobody cares.
I thought the XFL was like the minor leagues of the NFL. I thought they have a deal, a partnership.
No
You
connection.
better
They tried to.
I think that died out.
It's double. Check it out because I think The Rock made a deal with the NFL. It's the minor league. The NFL
right. So they kind of tried. They kind of tried to do that. From my understanding, the scheduling was kind of worked with the NFL. A lot of the XFL season was kind of worked in tandem with the NFL. So it was less about competing with the NFL and more about being a supplement. So football fans had football to continue watching. Football players had football there was a world in which The Rock and his team was hoping that in addition to minors, right, someone who doesn't get drafted, showing to the XFL, seeing if they can build some momentum to get an actual call.
Right.
I think they were probably what The Rock was hoping for was that it would go the other way too. That folks who maybe had a quick season, that let's say you play for the Jets and your quarterback goes down in the first 72 seconds. You haven't had a lot of games at that point. You play for an XFL team, you get more reps, you get more time, more TV. So I think that was the idea behind it, but I don't believe there was anything there was no official partnership. It wasn't like the NFL was doing anything to boost the XFL, or vice versa. Like the XFL wasn't boosting the NFL. It was just kind of almost like a pact between the two. All right, well, we're going to stay out of your way because we want to be as much a smooth as transition as possible between the two leagues. We don't want it to be a versus thing. I would say that by acquiring the USFL, that's probably not necessarily the case anymore. But what it really comes down to, man, I'll say, because I actually disagree with you in terms of no one cares. I think people would watch more football. I mean, you see football fans. As soon as football ends, the online rhetoric becomes can't wait for football season, right? Football fans spend all of the offseason waiting for football. So the thought process, I think, is solid of what if there was no offseason? What if there was always football? The problem is people like their teams, right? They build a connection to their team. They build a connection to certain players or even all of the players on their team. And those people aren't there. You know what I mean? And not only are they not there, but the best people are all in the NFL. That's the point. The NFL is where the XFL is not a destination, right? That would be a landing strip for somebody who crashed and burned. It's not the goal. If the XFL wanted to be, and they don't have the money to do this, to be clear, if the XFL wanted to be real, they would need to do what Live Golf did. They would need to steal some folks from the NFL. And the only way you would do that is you'd have to find some folks who either were never going to win.
Saudis involved.
Well, yeah, because the Rock's got stupid amount of money. He doesn't have Saudi Arabia, oil money. So but that was what you need to do. You need to have big money contracts for a couple of choice names, and be like, you're exclusive. You play for the XFL. You're going to be on the Brahmins. You're going to be on the Sea Dragons. You're going to be on the Arlington Renegades. And then you would get a couple of these people. And again, you can't be linemen either. You need some running backs. You need some quarterbacks. You need some defensive skill positions, right? Safety, corner, middle linebacker, whatever. Get a couple of them. Maybe grab a couple of free agents. I can think of one who, if you signed him to a big money contract, could bring some people in. And so that's what you need to do. If you really want it to be real, that's the way you compete with the NFL. You got to do what Live did. It's why Live worked. And it's the only way that the XFL can actually compete.
It's all about the motherfucking money.
It's got to be like soccer. How are you saying? It's got to be like soccer. You got people like the Saudi League, you have the English Premier League, you have the United States, and they're all betting, bringing in cash, whatever. Everybody's a free agent to go wherever. So, and it hurts when XFL all are owned by the same fucker. The 8 teams or whatever it is. It's not different owners. It's just all owned by the same freaking person than XFL. So it needs to expand where they can put money up front. It needs to that type of deal.
Well, yeah, but you look at you mentioned soccer, I mentioned live golf. What is the common denominator on both of those?
Cash. You need people to invest.
They got a huge influx of Middle East money to do this stuff. So if the Rock is into it now, The Rock has at one point toyed with running for president, so he certainly can't do that and this. But if The Rock has decided that what he wants to do is make an XFL that works, then he's gonna have to go ahead and call the Public Investment Fund, and say, hey, how badly do you want to be in American football? And by the way, the fact that they have USFL,
I just hope that doesn't. I hope you didn't put that out in the universe and people here, because that would be the day.
I promise you, everyone listening, before you get mad, I'm not the only person in the United States of America who has thought that. I'm not at all suggesting they should do it. I think they should just let the XFL die. But I'm saying if I own the XFL, if my money is tied up in it, and I'm trying to figure out how I can make this work so I don't lose my shirt on it, that would be how.
Oh boy. Well, good luck to the Alternative Football League. We'll see what happens there. XFL starts, I believe, in April, right after the Super Bowl in early February. So we'll see how that all unfolds. So one more story before we do some questions. Sure. And this is going to be really interesting. So there is a show that is very popular in the United Kingdom. It's still very popular. It's been around for 7 years. And that show has come to the United States on Max. So here it is. The show was called Naked Attraction, a British full frontal dating show. I have a story here from To The Day Show. The series, which is currently airing in its 7th season in the United Kingdom, recently made its debut in the United States. The slogan of the show, it's a dating show where we go back to basics and start where a good date often ends, naked. And so what happens is they bring a bunch of contestants. They bring one person who is interested, whether they're straight, gay, bi, trans, and they have the partners they desire, and they see them naked. First, they show their genitals, then they show up front, then they show their booty, the face, and the person has to decide if they like them enough naked, and then they will go on a real date clothed. So yes, as I said, they will look at each other naked, and then if they like each other, they will go on a date with clothes on.
Sounds like Ryan's upset that he's not part of the show.
Jose,
you could get this on Max, by the way.
Huh?
Did Matt make you watch this show?
Well, I didn't know about it till now, but I'm definitely gonna watch it right after the show.
Yes. So it was a late last minute, so I didn't get the chance to show it. So
it wasn't last minute enough for me. I unfortunately had to do research for the show.
By the way, I want to make this clear.
At Matt's request.
By the way,
go ahead.
This is uncensored. You will see it all.
Yes. So at Matt's request, Matt hit me up and said, we were going over what we do, because there's planning to this for all the listeners. To peel back the curtain a tiny bit, we plan this entire show. He goes, I need you to do something for me. It's a big ask. And I said, what? And he goes, I need you to watch the show Naked Attraction for the show. And I said, okay. And he explained it to me, but I was on my home from work. I was already turned it on. So I watched the first half of this, by the way, on a public bus. So that's probably not great. But I watched 2 episodes. I watched the very first episode, and I watched the last available episode on Max. And so, as Matt said, it's full frontal. So if you are uncomfortable with the male or the female genitals, you'll see both. Actually, every episode you'll see both. I'm sorry, go ahead.
There's a lot of penis on that show.
There is a ton.
Yes, there is.
Quite a lot. Quite a lot. They also, I really like, they make the one I watched, they made the contestant get naked too. So you can't just be clothed and judge all these naked people. You at the very end have to just get naked and then pick who you're going to go on a date with. It's wild. that they're like, well, you've made it this far. You've narrowed it down to 2 people. Take your clothes off, and then we'll find out who you want to date. Super weird. There's like a weird talent section in the middle where they have to do usually some sort of physical activity or something to that effect. They do a voice toward the end, like when there's like 3 people left, they get to talk. So the person gets to hear what they sound like. I'll say one thing I liked about the show was that, so they always picked, I'm just going to say, they always picked in the 4 people I watched pick, right? Because there's 2 per episode.
Mm-hmm.
The 4 people I watched always picked, in my opinion, the most conventionally attractive person.
Yes, that's what's that I want to talk. 100%. I want to get into that.
100%. Again, and I watched the last episode of the series that's on Max in particular. It was a pansexual woman. So there was a mix of different people, right? And then there was a woman looking for a guy, and she was like looking for an older guy. She ended up picking an older guy, which I thought was interesting. But anyway, and no matter what, and when they're talking, they talk about all these things. Especially, it was most obvious in the pansexual one because there was women and men, right? There was a lot of different body types, a lot of different shapes and sizes. We'll put it that way. And slowly but surely, in this particular one, the pansexual woman narrowed it down to the most conventionally attractive men who are on the show. They had the least amount of body fat, all that good stuff. So I thought that was interesting. It's like an anti-Love is Blind, if you've ever seen that show, Matt, from Netflix, where like they get into these, they have these pods, very similar. They have pods, right, where they can't see each other, but they just and they have no physical sight, and they have to basically pick somebody to marry. This is very similar to that, in which you can only see somebody, and like you only see part of them, and it's the whole thing. So it's like a weird opposite Love is Blind thing. And I do think it was interesting that when it was just based off looks, even someone who, again, pansexual, they actually explained, the second thing I liked was they had these weird like animations cut in and out explaining like certain terms or certain things about like the human body or about romance or about dating or whatever. And so they explained what pansexual was. And they even said like, that's weird for you to be on the show because you can't talk to anybody. So when, you have to base it purely off of looks. So if you're saying looks don't matter, that's your sexuality, you're on a weird show. And she said, she owned that. She was like, yeah, but you know what? Like, I'm trying something different. And so anyway, long story short is, they picked the most conventionally attractive person all 4 times, which I thought was interesting. They also picked the youngest person, I believe, 3 out of 4 times. If I'm not mistaken, because they tell you the age of everybody as they get eliminated. So I was keeping track. And the youngest available option was the person that got picked 3 out of the 4 times. And so it's just kind of interesting, right? When the clothes are off and looks are all you got, if you're young, physically fit, and I mean, for the guys that, for the women, there had to be like the right shapes and the right. And for the men, you had to have a decent enough display. Then you get picked, and everybody else didn't. But the show did make a point of displaying other body types in the beginning, right? So you have someone who's maybe a little overweight. You had someone who is a little bit smaller. It's a UK show, so they made a big deal about somebody being circumcised, right? Like, so they added a bunch of different like body types at the beginning when it was, and then they just slowly started getting rid of the body types that would be quote unquote less desirable, and ended up with the same thing you would expect, which I thought was, I mean, it's not disappointing. It's just human nature, right? But it was just interesting to see, a lot of people talk about body positivity, and the show, I think, does the best it can for body positivity by displaying those people. But at the end of the day, the hot girl was looking for the 2 hottest guys, or the hot guy was looking for the 2 hottest girls. Right, that was just facts. That's just what was happening. So,
and I watched a bunch of episodes too, and the girls interested in guys. It seemed like the guy with the biggest squajole, if you will, was always picked as well.
So I will say, in the 2 that I watched, there were guys who were picked, and that was, I mean, I didn't measure, obviously, but that wasn't necessarily visually. That wasn't the case. And it couldn't be small, right? It couldn't be small. But it didn't have to be, it wasn't like, oh, that's the longest, so you win. There was like, the body had to be a certain way, the face had to be a certain way, the hair, the voice, like there was more to it. But yeah, that was definitely something that went, I mean, the people who had a little bit less to work with, they went out usually in the first 2 rounds.
And also it's just, this host was just so funny.
She was pretty funny.
She's like,
she did really well.
Like, what does this vulva say to you? Like, what are you thinking? Like,
yeah, she said that to me. She said that to me. She didn't say it to me. She said it. She said that while I was on the public bus.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna get in so much trouble if anyone sits near me. They're gonna be like, "What?
This is an
watching?
HBO Max.
It was that line that made me realize that this was an at-home thing. So
this is a show that's been on for 7 years, so people clearly like it, and it's lasting, and it's getting the ratings.
There's no rules in the UK. Have you ever watched Skins, you guys?
Yeah, no, they have much different censorship
There's
rules.
just no
Europe in general.
Skins is a great show. I watched it in college. I would love to rewatch it because
not the American version sucks.
No, that was horrible. Yeah, but I watched the British version. I really liked it in college. I would love to watch it again now that I'm a little bit more experienced as a writer, a little bit older, to see if I actually liked it or if I was just like a super kind of like hormone charged teen when I watched it the first time. And I think it's about 50-50 chance that it was either A, really good, or B, I was just really, hormonal and like, jacked up. So I do want to rewatch that, but I remember really liking that show. And yeah, there's just no rules. The UK, man, their TV is just whatever they want.
Jose, what are your thoughts? Are you really interested in such a show?
Well, right after this show, when I get home, I will definitely watch the first couple episodes.
Please tell us your thoughts.
I'm gonna probably be like everybody else, go for the hottest person in the fucking building. Call it a day.
I mean, honestly, I was picking as the person too. Like, I was like, all right, who do I think they're gonna pick? Like, I wasn't picking for me. I was like, if I were them, who would I pick? And I picked. I went the same way. I ended up picking who they picked both times. 3 of the 4 times actually. So yeah, it's interesting the way the body just works like that. But then when you talk to somebody, like some of the dates don't go well, which is I think super interesting too. There was one where they went on a date and she left. She's like, yeah, I'm going home. This is not working. And that was the end of the show. She was like, yeah, no, we don't match at all. No chemistry. And so it's just so interesting how like you don't realize how important personality and like all that stuff is, I don't think, all the time, because we have so many shows dedicated to like everyone's so superficial, like we're going to talk deeply. I think people oftentimes do talk deeply because a lot of them didn't work out. Like, you know what I mean? And even the ones that worked out, it was like, oh, it was a fun date. We'll go on a second date. No one that I saw was like, I met the love of my life because I saw their ding ding. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, it's you got to come up with more original ideas. This clearly was it. And let's see if it becomes a hit, because this definitely was talked about. I saw a lot online and more traction. And maybe this is a new reality show that people enjoy.
Yeah, but you also
never work here.
You also realize there's nothing on Max. Like, what's on Max right now that
nothing brand new? No,
exactly.
Yeah, and also this show will never work for an American. Like, there'll never be an American version of the show.
Yeah. Oh man, the scrutiny.
It would never happen. So yeah, there's a couple of UK shows I think could work, and they're a little bit more risque, but that one's too far.
Too forward. Good stuff. So let's finish this out. Got about 15 minutes left. Why don't we get some questions about life and the internet and stuff like that? Why do you guys hate it when you see group chat, when you see people have one-on-one convos in group chats?
It's the fucking worst.
Yeah.
Like 2:00 in the morning, they'd be like, hey, Barbara, can you come pick me up? Like, go text Barbara privately. Let me go back to bed.
Yeah, I've never had that happen to me.
Oh, I see it a lot. Sometimes I think people really do it just to flex.
It's the fucking worst. By the way, it's the worst is like you have have an 8-person fucking group text and you're smashing a girl and that shit's going off with like only 3 of them are fucking talking about sports and you're banging the girl and the last thing they want to fucking hear is your phone go off every 5 seconds thinking it's your girlfriend or some shit.
Put it on,
because it's your girlfriend.
I'm sorry. I gave 2 fucks when I got a girl half naked already, ready to just
put it on
get
sleep.
it in. I don't got time for that shit.
Amateur move, Jose. Put it on sleep.
Well, when I have time to remember it, sure. All right. If the bitch is naked, wear a dildo, freaking playing with herself with a dildo. Last time I didn't do shit. Let me put my phone on sleep real quick. Hold on.
You know what? Then you know what? You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. If the phone's on, you can't be mad when the phone goes off. It's like being mad at a dog for biting. Can't be mad at a phone for dinging. Only you can prevent phone dings.
That's true. Do you feel hangovers have been lasting longer for people despite the age?
Oh, all people?
Yeah, I heard people saying that hangovers have been lasting longer for them. Like,
no, I don't think that's true.
Obviously the older you get, the longer the recovery time. But I think some people think there's something in the alcohol that makes it last longer.
I don't know. I've attributed it to my age.
You know what? I mean, I get it. Also depends on who you're hanging out with. If you're hanging with Bill Cosby, like he kind of like, like okay, something is wrong with the alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll say non-Cosby related. I'll say that I mean, I don't know because I know people who can still like rally really fast. So I think it has more to do with age than people are realizing. I also what I've seen studies on this that people are drinking less as like underage drinking is actually down.
Really?
Yeah,
because they're vaping instead.
Well, yeah, vaping is up and all that. But underage drinking is down, and so I do wonder if maybe some of it is less. I don't want to say less. I'm going to say less tolerance. Maybe they're not quite as good at drinking because they don't do it as often, and so when they turn 21, or whatever, they get a little older, and they're like, let's go after it, and they're not prepped. I feel like there's something to be said about when you have to drink a couple of beers when you're younger. To prep you for drinking a lot of beers when you get a little older. Not that I'm not suggesting that people do this. I'm just saying factually, I think that drinking less probably means that when you do drink, whenever that ends up being, you're more likely to get drunk faster, more likely to have a worse hangover, all that stuff. So I do think maybe there's something to that, but I don't think that everyone's drinks are laced or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I think that's we live in conspiratorial times, and so that's what people like to believe. But that I would be shocked if that was true.
Do you think that people like to brag about how early in the morning they wake up? Yeah, I'm like The Rock. I wake up at 4 a.m. Guess how early I wake up? Midnight. Guess how early I wake up? 11 p.m. Do you feel people like to brag about how early? Yeah, there are some people who are like that.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Jose?
I personally, I give two shits. If you fucking wanna
wake up early.
Hell no.
I can't do it.
I think that's why. You're in the I don't care camp.
I'm in the gym until like 2 a.m. So by the time I get to bed, it's like 4 or 5 a.m.
Okay, so that is so noon would be early for you because you went to bed 4 hours ago. No, I mean I have to wake up for work, right? And so I don't think I'm one of those guys, but I could see because I wake up relatively early. I wake up at between 6:50 and 6:30 usually, depending on like my dog whenever he cries and whatever. So I like to say that. And then when you tell someone that, when you're talking about it, you're like, oh, I wake up at like 6:15 because I have to get ready for work, take care of my dog, all that stuff. And then someone's like, well, I wake up at 5:15. I'm like, well, first of all, stop. You know what I mean? And so I think that if you do wake up early, because it sucks to wake up early. You guys are right.
I can't do it anymore. I used to be really good at it.
Yeah. So when you do wake up early because you have to or whatever, and then someone is like, that's not early. That's sleeping in. I woke up at 5 o'clock. I'd be like, no, I was really tired this morning at 6:15 when I woke up. I was really tired at 6:30 when I woke up. I don't need to hear you be like, I actually woke up at 4:30 and I did some yoga. So why are you tired? I'm tired because 6:30 is early. That's why I'm tired. And so I do agree that it's really annoying. I do agree it's really annoying. Yeah. I guess that's where I was going with that.
If there's a girl, by the way, it's a red flag with a girl if they wake up early. I'm just saying.
Really? Why do you say that?
Do you mean in general or after a night together?
No, in general. If any girl tells are you a night owl, early bird, or they'll come up with some bullshit conversation like that. If they tell me they like to get up early, I'm already done.
Well, I mean, if they have work though, again, like I said, I'm up early for work. So if you work in the same office as I do,
I get it. If you go to work, you got to be at work at 8 a.m. or whatever. Cool, I get it. But if it's a fucking Saturday and you're off and you're up at 8 a.m.
Oh,
like
yeah.
go fuck
I
yourself
get what
or
you're
some
saying.
shit.
People should prioritize sleeping a little bit on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, just to make you 8 a.m. is actually us sleeping in.
Yeah.
Like we do wake up at 8 a.m. on the weekends. Then that is us sleeping
Jesus.
in because we have to be at work by 8 o'clock during the week. So we're so used to waking up early that even when we want to sleep in, it ends up being like 8. Our body like wakes up in a cold sweat. Our dog is screaming because we overslept. And we know in our heads we wake up like I'm late for work, even though it's a Saturday. So
Right.
So
I just thought it was interesting you picked 8 a.m. because that is exactly the Saturday wake up time.
So you
Ryan, it's a red flag, Ryan. You have a red flag now.
Well, I mean, she's Melissa's up too, so it works out fine.
So say you meet somebody at a coffee shop on Monday, right?
Sure.
Hit it off, it goes well. Say, hey, let's get a drink on Friday. Text throughout the week, things are working out. And then on Thursday, you set up a date for 8:30 at night for a drink. Then they text you, hey, I have to wake up early for work on Saturday.
On Saturday.
So
okay.
Can we move the date to 7 at night instead of 8:30? Do you think by any chance that could be a sign that she just wants to get it over with and then ghost you?
Yeah, working on a Saturday is uncommon. I mean, obviously, it's possible. I'm not saying
like if they worked at a retail
true.
store or whatever.
Right, like it can be true, but I would say a lot of times working Saturday morning is it's uncommon. A lot of businesses are closed on Saturday morning. So the idea that she happens to work on Saturday morning to me would give me some pause that she's trying to get out of the date.
God damn it. I love how you're going with you're going that whole excuse route. I'm like going a whole different way.
Tell us, Jose, what do you think?
Surprising no one. Me and Jose went a different way.
So I don't think she's ghosting me. If she would have ghosted, she would have not tried to reschedule. She just would have ghosted you on Thursday.
That's true.
Like you would have been like, because usually a guy would be like, "Hey, are we still on for tomorrow?" Whatever. If she wanted to ghost you, she would have just dropped the conversation. So off the top of my head, so she wants to. All right, in my mind, we had set it up for 8:30 for whatever. She changes to go earlier, right? So now in my mind, it's like, all right, either A, she has plans after,
right?
She's giving me a bullshit excuse so she can do whatever she wants, and B, or I go with that route. Maybe there's another dude because look, come on. Chances are you're not the only motherfucker he's talking to. So you're either going that route. Maybe she's going out to the bar clubs. Maybe she got something else to do at that time. Cool, got it. Or B, she feels she's on the fence with you. So she might want to get out of the way, kind of like she's not sure about this. Maybe she still has feelings for the other dude. Maybe she's still talking to the other dude. Whatever goes back to one. Maybe she's like, let's have it early. If I'm not feeling it, my night can go. My night's done early. I can do whatever after. And if we hit it off even better, maybe we can prolong it after.
Okay, so I'm saying it's probably bad. You're saying it could just be that she's.
I'm saying she's on the fence. If she's on the fence and she's on the fence of how she feels about you, and she might be in a situation where it's just not you two talking. I don't think it's ghosting at all because I would have just.
You would have, right? You would have just.
So at the end of this, would you still do it? Would you still go? Or you might as well. You know what? There's already hesitation. Might as well save my money for somebody who doesn't want to move our date earlier.
You said a drink, right?
Yeah.
I would do if it was more than a drink. I would say fuck it. I'm good. Like I'll keep it moving. But if it's just a drink,
I would go. Yeah, I would go for drinks at 7. You know what I mean? You never know. Like Jose said, it could just be that she's unsure. You guys get off, and now you're getting 2 drinks, 3 drinks. You know what I mean?
And you prolong it. If you can that's how it's like the biggest telltale sign. If you can go on that, all right, you 7 o'clock, cool, you go for a drink or whatever. Yeah. And you actually went from 7 o'clock and you're still chilling with her till like 10 o'clock, 10:30. You know the date's going really well, then it's like, all right, cool. Yeah. You kind of eased her had her guard down a little bit, and you kind of have fun, and then you can tell off the next day how she acts, how she texts you after. You can tell, but if it go at 7, you're done by 8 o'clock. You know that chick is done.
Yeah,
you might get you might get a thank you text. I had a wonderful time with you, but that's as far as it's gonna get.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff to contemplate in this world. Moving on. So if a girl calls a guy a dude and a guy calls a girl a bro, is that automatic friend zone?
Fuck yes. If a bitch calls me a dude, you're done. I'll cut you off.
Well, I'm not going to be the same.
Well, of course you're married. I get it.
But
if you're
no,
your
I agree with you.
I'm
agreeing with you. Dude. I'm not talking about my wife in general. I'm not talking about her. That's different. Like we're married. That's like totally not the same. But no, I would say in general, yeah. I would, again, you know me. I don't necessarily know that the friend zone just means you're friends, in my opinion. It doesn't mean anything else. Nothing is turned off. Jose disagrees. We won't get into that again.
If your intentions, if you're talking to a girl, your intentions to get to know the girl, intention to go more than you. Okay, Ryan, I know you've been married for a while. Us single dudes like Matt, we ain't looking for friends. We're like Drake, no new friends.
Yeah,
God,
I got enough.
I get you.
We got one purpose, and it ain't to make a buddy. All right.
Fair enough.
When this chick comes like, "Hey, dude, how you doing?"
Yes, you're in the friend zone. 100%. 100% agree. You're in the friend zone.
And guess what happens? You have a nice life. Take care of yourself. I hope whoever you're smashing doesn't have HIVs and go on your merry way.
Yeah. So I would agree. Like, yeah, if you get dude, you're in the friend zone. Or bro, right. if you're women listening,
if it's the other way around.
If he says bro, you're in the friend zone.
Unless it's Matt Riddle, don't call me bro either. Right?
So
I do think I will say this: if you're a woman in the friend zone, so if you're a woman and your dude calls you bro, right?
Yeah, what's up, bro?
I think you probably have a much easier time getting out of the friend zone. I think if you are like Matt and Jose, single and you just want to mingle, you're not looking for friends, you're looking for something else. I think you could probably find that with your friend as a woman a lot easier than if you're a guy trying to get a lady friend to advance.
Depends.
No, it depends. Everybody is different. 100%. Everybody's different.
I think Matt, if it was like if it's like a 400-pound girl that's eating fucking bonbons all day or whatever, and you're just trying to get with a friend. And so
it's different. I mean, yeah, obviously they have to find you some, they have to be interested at least a little bit in terms of, all that. I'm just saying in general. This is really just me trying to say never give up if you're in the friend zone. Always keep fighting.
Well, I mean,
no fighting. Fighting is the wrong word. If you have a dream, you should chase your dream with consent, respectfully. Boom. Put that on a bumper sticker.
There you go.
I don't know, man.
Chase your dream with consent, respectfully.
I think you have to start as like friends from the start. Never like.
Oh, not you too, Matt. No.
No, I'm saying like if you didn't get friend zone after dating for a bit, you saw each other naked, you were fucking bajouk, she was playing the flute on you, and you were
the flute,
and you were or you were having some pie, as The Rock would say.
Sure.
And then your friends like that friend zone, it's hard to get back into that area again. Now, if you just start as maybe not. I don't know. I haven't bothered trying.
I find it way
either, but I feel like that would be easier.
I found it way easier to smash, then become friends and smash again than me.
Because it's happened already.
Yes, because you already have that comfort level with that person. It's way easier going that way than me trying to be friend zoned and be
getting back together.
Yeah, because usually when you end up in the friend zone, you tend to go into the fluffer mode, and once you become a fluffer, you're done. Like stick a fork in it, you done.
At that point, it's like, hey, girl, guess what happened to me?
And then you're gonna try to make her jealous, and then all these mixed signals, and then it's gonna get awkward, and it's like, oh, you know what, this friendship is it's sinking faster than the
We
Titanic.
need to come up with a new word. That's not a friendship at that point. This what's the word? Like, this contingency plan isn't gonna happen.
Contingency plan,
right?
I suppose maybe I think friendship is fine.
I mean, of course, if you want that, but like Jose said, no new friends.
No,
I've got enough friends.
That's true.
Imagine if I really could make a pod of people have friends on me or I friends on them. It would never happen. I would love to try, but imagine if I just had people who the people I have friends or people friends on me. Hey, what's up, everybody? So we're having a friends podcast. So why don't we look at talk about Travis Kelce and
friends podcast,
a friend zone podcast. We are friends, right?
Welcome to the friend zone.
You know what?
Your host, Matt Brown.
You know what makes it real obvious? Like friends. Like for me, if I friend zone a woman, it's because more or less you're a good person, but there's something physically attractive that I don't like about you. Like I'm not physically, my shit doesn't get up for you. Like you're cool. Yeah. I don't mind having you around, but I'll never go that way with you. So when a girl friend zone me, that is the first thing
in your head, right? In your head, you're like, right? What's wrong?
Of course, exactly. Yeah, that's 100% the case. Like,
what's wrong with me? But not my fault. What's wrong with me? But then in the back of my head is like, I give two fucks. I'll just keep it moving. I'd rather keep. Well,
then you get defensive because like she finds something about me not attractive. So like whatever, I'm moving on. I get you.
Exactly. You know, I'll share a story like that. You were saying so. The last person like I dated for 2 months when I was living in New Jersey, right? So it was an awesome time and I enjoyed their company and I could still text her and say, hey, what's up? And talk to her for a little bit, right? I have a lot of respect for this person. So when it ended and she was saying how she didn't like me anymore, right? She said this line that bothers the hell out of me that I've only told my roommate. Maybe I told Ryan.
I'll know when I hear it.
So, or maybe I've told Jose, but this, I'll admit, this honestly changed somewhat my psyche. I haven't been really focused on dating since I started the show. Of course, I'm always trying, but I'm not like, I'm fine with or without it. So she said after it was over, and I was like, okay, fine. If you're not interested anymore, fine. I got asked the question pretty much like, okay, what changed pretty much? Whether I'm in the right to ask that or not, whatever. But she answered, and she was very honest. She said, well, Matt, it got to a point where the fun outweighed the attraction. And this is someone I dated, for real, and you go through all the levels of that, if you know what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. So, of course, I'm like, damn, so because I was myself, I friend-zoned myself, huh?
Yeah, you're too fun, Matt. You're too much fun to hang out with.
Yeah, and my roommate makes fun of me to this day. It is a hilarious way to friend-zone someone. And, of course, of course, everybody's different. And I haven't met anybody legitimate like that to try again. But I won't lie, it made me think, like, what the hell does that even mean?
Yeah, there's no way to fix that. It just happens.
I think I got a totally different view out of that.
What was that? Please elaborate.
Like, you ever played Texas Hold'em?
Yeah.
I don't really know the rules, but I try to play it, but I know it's poker.
Right, okay, right. So you got a good hand off the rip. Like your first two cards, let's just say it's a pair of aces.
Pocket aces.
Right off the pocket. So you got pocket aces. Best hand in the game, right? Mm-hmm. Now you already know the other person's interested, right? But you don't want to show all your cards off the rip. Mm-hmm. Right? So then the flop comes on the table, right? You got a king, an ace. So you got three aces, right? Trips. And now you're just slow playing the shit because in your mind you said you got it in the back. Like I'm gonna just have
three of a kind, yeah.
Right. So in your mind is like, I got this in the bag. I'm gonna slow play the shit out of his hand. I'm gonna get the other person to invest more. By the time at the end, I got him. Right. Mm-hmm. So I view you as you slow played that relationship. You were too fun. You acted too much like the friend. and you weren't aggressive enough. You're letting the other person put more into the pot than you were. So you became this fun dude, laid back, fun to talk to probably. She could talk to you about everything. And then you suddenly not realizing it became more of a friend than the aggressor. Because like what girls, most girls like someone aggressive, someone confident, someone like over the top a little bit, right? You slow played the shit out of it. You became the friend dude. Like, oh, I bet she called you be down to do this or like down to do that. You didn't give two fucks, whatever. Because in the back of your mind, you thought you had it.
Mm-hmm.
By the time
and you get to the point where you go to the best levels where whatever happened, right? You're already at that level. Okay, I don't have to work for this anymore.
And then you realize you got to all the way to the river, and you found like by the time she comes to the table, she was like, "I'm done." And you flip them cards. This bitch got a flush, and you only had tricks. And then that's where she's like, "Well, Matt, you are a fun dude. Just outweighed the attraction. You should have been more aggressive."
So how does somebody fix that exactly? Basically, don't be yourself.
No, it's not that. It's not.
That's honestly what I got out of it.
You know what it is? It's like pro wrestling or like pro wrestling podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Pro wrestling, you know how the saying goes, and Ryan would know, you gotta be you, but
up to 11.
Up to 11 on that. Like, those are the best stars. You think about it. Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, they're just them, but they up it when on the TV screen. Everybody likes them. They're super aggressive, confident in the way they say things, the way they talk. They're super OD over it. You like were feeling her. You knew she was feeling you. You didn't want to like. You just were like, let me just be me, calm. Everything's going smoothly. Maybe the whole time this chick wanted an aggressive dude.
Well, I was gonna say, I think part of it is you can't necessarily control what the other person wants either. You might not be it. You know what I mean? Like you may not have whatever she's looking for. So that's number one. I will say though, I actually agree with what Jose is saying.
Oh shit!
A little bit. I would not use the word aggressive because I'm not aggressive, but I do think that the most I won't say flirtatious, but the version of me that was definitely more like flirted more, was more involved with people, was definitely me at 11. Like I'm usually pretty quiet, but I like a good quip or one liner. I've got a bit of a sarcastic sense of humor. I'm also a pretty smart guy. And so when Ryan is flirting with people, he's often got a lot of one-liners, and he's often not afraid to let you know that he's very smart. And some people don't like that. Like I said, that's where it comes down to. Like, not everyone's like, oh, a lot of people here to be like, oh, he's too smart. You know what I mean? Like he's overconfident how smart he is, and that's happened to me a bunch. Like that's a fact, right? But when you find someone, they'll be like, oh, he's smart and funny. And that's what you're looking for. I mean, when you're me. Now, if you're someone who is more aggressive, right, in general, like in your everyday life, then yeah, the person who's going to make the first move, you know what I mean? The person who's going to be a little bit more like forwardly confident. That might be you at 11, right? For like dating, putting the most.
Right.
But so that's why I think it's important that you can't just be, if you're not a naturally aggressive person, they're going out and trying to be like, first move guy all the time is not going to work for you, because it's going to be fake as shit and everyone's going to catch you. You talked about Cody Rhodes at 11. Cody Rhodes fake as shit is Stardust. You don't want to be Stardust. You want to be Cody Rhodes, right?
Yeah, but Stardust was never him.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So if you're not him, if you're not that guy, if you're not, the guy who's going to make that first move, is going to be very kind of macho in the first meeting. If you try to do that, it's going to come across as you trying to be a jerk. That's what it's going to come across as. Whereas so when I do what I do, if someone else is trying to do, talk as fast as I end up talking and all the things that I do, they would kind of look stupid if that's not natural for them. They'd be like, what are you doing? I mean, Matt has known me a really long time. I use words that no one uses in a sentence ever, often. And my brother makes fun of me for it literally all the time. I have a lot of friends who make jokes about my vocabulary all the time. And it's not, I can't control it. It's just how I'm a writer. I know a lot of words, I use them. And so, but when you meet the right person, the fact that you're doing that won't make you look like a dweeb or like pretentious, and they'll be like, oh, he's smart. They'll look at it. They'll look at
you
what you're
liking you for you.
Right. So you're still right about that. But I think Jose is right in that a lot of times you could get like too in your own head and not do that. So you fall, there's like two traps. You can, one, try and be something you're not, and then you come across as fake and it doesn't work. Or because you don't know what you are, or don't know that she likes what you are, you kind of just like let it rock. You let it rock. You keep like biding your time. You don't ever like turn it up. You don't ever show you're interested, ante in, as Jose said with his like poker reference. And then by time you do get to the end, you've lost. You had three of a kind, and she had a flush. So I think he's right. I just think you make, again, when you say like you got to be aggressive, I don't think that always works. It depends. That depends on the person, specifically the person involved, the two people involved.
Maybe it's because I know Matt, and I've watched Matt for years. I see Matt when he's talking to someone and it's some importance to it. If it's something he's interested in the person or whatever it is, he's very conservative. And then I also know Matt when he gives two shits about he'll say random things. Like we used to work at Cole's department store, and it could be a random person.
I've seen this with Matt too.
And he'll come out with a stupid ass line, and I'm like, what the fuck is he saying?
It's because he doesn't.
And it just goes. But if it's a girl he likes and is right in front of him, that line ain't happening. Yeah. He's very into to himself. And that's what I meant about being more aggressive, because if you let Matt overthink it, Matt's very conservative and Matt is very calm.
So I would say not calm. So I would say let's say that's Matt, right? I would say Matt in general has a bit of a calm streak to him. I don't think,
Correct.
He can get worked up, like you said, but I think a lot of times he keeps level-headed. So if you're taking it that, right? So when you're interested in someone, you usually keep you're calm, a little bit more courteous, a little bit more polite. Whereas when you're not interested, you just say whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah, that's true.
So you want to turn that Matt up to 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
That Matt is, I won't say kinder, but like active listening. You do this shit on your podcast all the time. Like you're listening, you're hearing their stories, you're being more engaged that way. So like, I don't think you have to be like, no, I'm taking charge. Because again, I don't know Jose as well as I know Matt. But I've known Jose long enough now to know that Jose is that guy. That Jose up to 11. I mean, I think we've seen Jose up to 11. So I'm assuming when he's with women, he's up to like 17. And that Jose is probably a little bit more forceful, a little bit more like, I'm in charge. Here's what we're doing, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like kind of captures the moment, captures the room. If that's not my natural position. If I just said, here's what we're doing, my wife would look at me like I had 17 heads. Like, what are you talking about? So just doing it because, I don't think it works. But if you're kind of like quiet and introspective when you're into somebody, like turn that up, make that like you actively listening, actively engaging, say kind words. You know what I mean? Like you can do things like that. You can be actively engaged without being, you don't have to be brash. You don't have to be cocky. You don't have to be forceful. If that's not your natural posture, because people and all people, this is not even just for dating, just in general. If you walk in there, I've worked in fundraising. I've worked in a lot of front-facing things. If you walk in there fake, everyone knows it. One of the biggest problems I had in fundraising was that I was always trying to be a lot more deferential to people, because I was always told like, you need their money, so shut up and listen, right? Like I was told that by my boss, like, shut up and listen, you need their money. And so I would. And so I would be like, oh yeah. And I would hear something that I thought was just wildly stupid. And I would say nothing, or I would even agree with it. And it was fake. They knew I didn't agree with it. You can see it on my face that I don't agree with what I just heard. But whereas when I went in there and I talked to people and I said, well, here's why that's not right. When I explained to them why I was right, I felt more natural. It's what I like to do. It's what I usually do. And yes, it rubs some people the wrong way. But for a lot of other people, they hear it and they're like, all right, that makes sense. You've convinced me. And that's because that's my natural position. So if you're more like introspective, more, active listener, then just use that. That's the skills that you have. Trying to add new skills. I mean, best case scenario, you get kind of good at it. But worst case scenario, it comes across as fake. So I would say for everyone listening, not just Matt, we're talking about Matt's story specifically, but for everybody,
of course,
you know what you're good at. So when you're having interactions with people, that's who you've got to be. Like that's when people are going. And yes, will everyone like that? No. Some people, if you're an active listener, will be like, "Oh, this dude's just like a rug or a doormat. You could walk all over him." And I get that, and I think for a guy like Jose, hearing that story would like be really hard to hear because Jose will never be called a doormat. You know what I mean? That just will never happen. But I think ultimately you win more than you lose. When you do what you're good at. And like I said, I do think for the more extroverted folks, it can be harder. Like in your mind, like just talk more or just be more forceful, be more aggressive, be more assertive. And because that's what we're used to doing that. But for someone who's not good at it, it's A, super uncomfortable for them to try, and B, like it also won't work. So now you're going to put yourself out there in a position you're not comfortable in and then get rejected. It's not a good look. I say work with what you're good with. Like everyone has the deck of cards that they've been dealt. Use it. Right?
Yeah. And I'm
your strengths,
always
know your weaknesses.
I'm always willing to put myself out there for the show. And that's part of me not caring and to help people understand more about themselves and that. And I will continue to do that. And with that, I think this is a perfect place to end. Some pretty solid advice. And remember that, people. Be yourself, but turn up to 11. And
or whatever you're
go really far. So with that, a lot of great stuff. I'm looking forward to the next time. And that's Jose and Ryan killing it once again.
Thanks, Matt.
All right. Thanks. It looks like I'm canceling a date. All right. Bye, guys.